Hey guys, my name is Dan, and I'm going to go over Directwave. And just real quick though, if you're all using sampler and using multiple instances of sampler to include your hat, snare, kick, whatever you're wanting to use, and this is mainly for percussive purposes, but you can use it Directwave for other things too, but just trying to keep it more simple. So instead of using the sampler, add a Directwave and then go over to a sample that you like to use. Let's see, groove kick. Let's see here. So you just drag it over and you go down to the sample and it shows it here. You can drag it into the sample window or here, but basically it just goes into the whole thing as it should. And then, so you got your sample here, you got your program up here, which shows this window, which you can adjust the root note, which is important. I'll get to that in a minute. And then you got your multi-bank here, which it'll show up there in addition to your other samples. And so they're on the left-hand side here, they're your MIDI channels, and then your output channel here, and you can just double-click here, and if I set this one to number 2, it will run one mixer channel to the right of Directwave, and we'll just put Directwave on 1, just to keep it simple. And so a groove kick's going to come out of 1, and I hit a key on the keyboard. It's automatic, and it's on channel 1, so the key on the keyboard, trigger it. So fairly simple. So you got your pattern clip. And doesn't have anything in it, so we go into here, make sure up here it says Directwave, go to your fundamental, put your note, and that one's way too long, to here, and you know, just for easiness, right? All right, so go back to here, and then you'll click, let's just add a hat, and let's see, like groove 6, I think is a good, yeah, that's a good one. So you'll click on this guy here, and then remember you got these guys down here. I'll get to those later. So click on the sample window. Just keep it simple. Greg. Now it's there. Now your hat is on MIDI channel 2. You can select MIDI channel 1, but then it'll be the kick and snare will be triggered, or kick and hat will be triggered by the same note. So that leaves you with less options if that's the case. Back into here. Then you'll go to the MIDI channel. Go to number 2, and then you know. I'm going to just pick a note up here, and we're just going to do, you know, something, just anything, I don't know. So there's that, but you're going to say to me, well, the root note's going to be off, so the pitch is going to be higher for it, and that is the case. So in that case, so you'll have your sample selected, go to Program, and then right-click here to change the root note to the one that you have in your pattern clip in the piano roll. And now it'll play the appropriate pitch of your sample. All right, and then just to make it a little bit more, we can go, let's go over to the multi-bank. We got the, I guess, whatever. We can grab a snare clap. Let's see, snare clap 5. Woo, back up a little bit. Click an empty spot before, then drag it into there. Go to Program. Now we'll select the root note. We'll just make it E, just to keep it simple. And then let's see, we'll just get this guy. Whoops, to the opposite of what I intended. Okay, so double click here. Now it's on MIDI channel 3. Select 3. And I don't know, just something on the offset, I guess. Okay, nothing fancy, just demonstration purposes. So also, real quick, you notice that these MIDI channels are expressing their colors through the pattern clip. If yours does not, you click on the note word right here with your pointer. Otherwise, if it's probably on channel or pattern, it won't the note colors won't be different. So just real quick for you there. And yeah, so that's basically that. Now what I'm going to do is go back to multi-bank, click on an empty one, and let's see, I'm going to find a, let's see, there was a vocal that, oh yeah, yeah, this one. So just some kind, well, it's not really a vocal. Well, it was a vocal actually, but I used Harmor to kind of record an interesting effect. So now here, let's see, we're on number 4. So what I'm going to do real quick though is I'm going to make a different pattern clip so I can have it on a different row so that I can disable. So I can disable this guy. It's going to be number, I believe it was number 4. And on Directwave, mind you, up here, and number 4. Okay, so now just play that out. And unnecessarily long, doesn't really matter. Okay, so now, so because of cool editing features about this guy here, so you got your sample thing, and you hit your key. And I didn't offset. Well, it's not. It does. I don't need to offset the root note because it's in a different pattern clip, and so it's not gonna. I'm not gonna have all my notes on top of each other, so that doesn't really matter. So now, whoops. So we got this guy. Hit the key. Now you can. So there's a loop type. It's disabled off the start. Do one shot. No, not one shot. Never mind. Do like forward. Basically, you're enabling the loop, and as you got the loop start and the loop end. So if I adjust the loop end, it will replay. Except for everything starts together all the way up at the start for some reason. So adjust it back. Let's see, it's starting a little bit soon. Bring it to there. So you can see that you can do some kind of cool effects there with some certain sounds. If you want to record a certain sound to make a certain other sound, then that's a good way to do that. And just be mindful that when you push higher keys on the keyboard or lower keys, it changes the play speed correspondingly. So that's just something else to know when you're messing with this. Let's see if it poly. Is it poly? So you can see that the other note's is playing slower, and so it plays 2 different layers at the same time, or 3, or I don't know what the limit is actually. You can do a bunch of stuff anyway. So I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to point that out. And the zone of the particular sample has editing abilities, and so I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to set the loop end to be a little bit longer so we have more time to deal with stuff. Okay, so back at the zone, you can change the pitch. I mean, these are all kind of self-explanatory if you're at all familiar with this software and how to do stuff. I'm just trying to more or less explain the things you can do with Directwave. So there's a time thing that's kind of cool if you enable time and sync it to the beat of your DAW or the BPM, and then you can change the grain of the sample. And you can also automate these parameters and make some pretty cool effects. Except for I want to disable this guy. Except for I want we were doing something that'll sound a little bit better. So anyway, so the grain, I'm just pointing out you can change, and you can also adjust the grain percentage. and do some pretty interesting things. Also with that, there's there's filters, the amp and envelopes are reactive to the MIDI triggers and not the loop cycles that you might have the sample set for, just so you know. And so you can, you change the amp envelope, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Raise the bar, raise this slider, and its attack is slower. And decay and so just showing you real quick. These LFO guys, I can't get them to quite do anything to anything. Not sure what image line intended for these, but anyway, so over to the mod matrix. The default is going to give you a note velocity for your voice gain, so that when you hit a key lighter or harder, the velocity values will change how loud the sample is played. And then the mod wheel, I don't know what the mod wheel was actually supposed to. I didn't really mess with that. Doesn't appear to maybe be applied to anything that can be visually or audibly distinguished. But anyway, so there's a Zone 2 LFO, which is under the Zone LFO. Zone LFO. There's a Zone LFO, and then there's an LFO over in the program. So actually, these Zone LFOs they should actually work. For some reason, something happened to me where the Zone LFOs wouldn't even show up in the matrix, and I could only use the program LFOs to change the values of like the filter or whatever. So so it's a Zone LFO on the voice pitch. Let me speed up that attack again. And so the voice pitch, I'm not sure what the voice pitch necessarily is supposed to be doing. The LFO for number, is this 2? I don't know why they defaulted it on number 2. I'm not sure why they didn't just do Zone to LFO 1, because Zone LFO 1, because it's the one that's actually highlighted. If you go back here. Yeah, I'm not really sure. There's some things that might not make sense with the sample that you have. So so there's yeah, for some reason sometimes this might say program or PLFO, just so you know. And so okay, so LFO1 selected, LFO1 selecting filter 1 cutoff. I go to filter 1 cutoff. You have to set the type. It's off. We'll just, I guess, do high pass. Oh, we got to set the LFO's waveform. Goodness. It's funny that it's selected on sign, but it actually shows up as a data dot dash. So I just select off and select back. The amount of that is set there's no amount set, so the effect's not going to happen. I hope I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay, so and then you're going to apply the effect of the LFO. I'm just assuming that the reverse way reverses the waveform so that it affects it in the opposite way. And you can, and then if you select the phase, I think when it's on free run, it is triggered when you play the note. Otherwise, you can, if you select this guy, I think it sits there and runs repeatedly. So that if you need to, you can set the position of the waveform. Or actually, no, it would be triggered, but you would be able to move the waveform forward or back to get the filter effect or whatever other effect to apply at the right point in time of when you play your sample. And then, of course, you can change the shape of your filter and all that good stuff. Not really getting into all that, but just showing you kind of with the mod matrix and Directwave. is applied to each one of your samples. So let's do something more subtle. So there's ring modulation, which I guess changes the, the volume of the sample, but it throws it up and down sort of like an LFO, I think. I could be totally wrong about that, but you can change the rate of it, and it seems like it's basically an LFO for the volume. Or the rate is, so it's going faster and it's throwing the frequencies higher as it throws it faster. But anyway, so it's a way to change how your sample sounds, and then additionally, they got a disseminator, which is basically just reduces the quality, kind of like the, anyway, so the disseminator is kind of like bit crushing, I think. So there's that. That's kind of a cool, and it's zone specific, so it'll be on each of your samples. Quantizer is sort of the same, but it says bits, so maybe it's I don't know. Maybe the disseminator is a resolution crusher or something. But anyway. But that's kind of less, but it just depends on the kind of sound you're having going on. Maybe that'll help make you, allow you to adjust the sound to get a certain effect that you want. And then the phaser, and then the send FX. So the send FX these are kind of just shortcut parameters to the, I believe if you go to the program, you basically, so here's your reverb is off, chorus is off, delay is off, and you go back to zone, and let's say I'll show you. See, it didn't do anything, but it's just kind of those. That's why I'm saying that those are shortcut deals. So yeah, turn it on here, and then go back to zone. Program. Okay, so yeah, program is sample specific. I'm not sure specifically how zone is different, but it just has to do with how effects are routed and whatnot, I guess. So I'm just showing you guys the program, what you can do. All right, so you got the different effects that you can have on here. And then, so you guys can mess with that. But I just kind of wanted to show you how you can add these things together. And you got you can use a pattern clip. You can use the different MIDI channels within the piano roll. And that way you can kind of see without clicking into a different sample, because you have multiple samplers, or a different pattern because you have multiple samplers. You can see everything that you're doing in the piano roll together, so that it's all right there, and you can line things up. You don't have to rely on ghost notes and stuff like that to try to line up your beats and stuff. So I do believe that is about the real extent of Directwave, but I thought it was really cool. I thought having everything in one pattern clip and using the different MIDI channels, you could do this, and of course, if you need more than 16, you can just open up another Directwave, although you'll have to use another pattern clip for that Directwave, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that there was much else. I wanted to say there might have been. But yeah, just remember your root note triggers for your different MIDI channels, so that your note overlay is in a way that is manageable, so you don't have your notes overlapping each other. And then of course, whatever you set up, you can go ahead and you can save the program, which is the sample, or you can save your whole bank, all the samples that you have in there, and then load them up for next time or something else. Yeah, so anyway, hope you guys liked what you saw and gave you some ideas, and throw this video a like or not. And yeah, enjoy your day.